professional career now. So you've made a pretty successful transition. I mean, you had RV Sports, that's still there, with Griffin Group, I believe. Is that right?
Well, what I did following my exit from the Cats, I guess, is during that period there was about a 1 year overlap where the Australian team needed games to prep for Beijing. And I talked to a good friend of mine, Paul Robertson, who's the R in the RV, about helping out the team. And what I wanted to do was privatise the boom, because at the time I thought the way the current organisation that headed the national body was looking after the team could have been done a bit better. And coming out of Wildcat management, understanding professional sports and how to promote an event, I thought we could have added some skill sets there, and we did. So that's how that got born. And off the back of that, we were able to attract some interesting things. We did an event on the beach in Cable Beach. We engaged with China. We hosted Iran here. We hosted Argentina here. So it was really doing things that were a little bit different again and innovative. I tend to probably gravitate towards things that haven't been done yet, because it provides a stimulating challenge, I think, to try and figure out smarter, better, quicker ways to do things. And so that was an interesting, again, time, and wasn't overly financially rewarding, but it gave me again some opportunities, particularly about building a sporting network in Asia. And from that, some consultancies came out of that. Griffin's one of them. But sort of merging out of sports management and sports events into some, either management consulting or business development work between Asia and Australia was a natural progression, because a lot of these guys that I had made contact with that owned sporting teams or had affiliation with sporting team had these networks off to the side. So it was
natural attrition almost, yeah.
Correct way.
Yeah.
So that was what I was doing when I got tapped on the shoulder for this current role with energy. Yeah.
And that's a good transition. I mean, having a little bit of knowledge about energy. It's a very innovative business, so you've sort of gravitated to that by the sounds of it as well.
Well, I think one of the things that I looked at in wondering what you want to be when you grow up, when you're still in your early 40s, is quite a funny thing to do. But really it was more about, there was two things I wanted to be in, either data or energy. And I see the future of society consuming a lot of both. They'll do it in different ways, but it's like, it's inevitable. And so being able to be part of the growth, and particularly in energy, the energy industry in Australia is in the middle of its biggest transformation in history. So moving away from fossil fuels into renewables, like the rest of the world is doing. Australia is a really good integrator of world's best practice. So generally they're not early adopters, but once they figure out what it is they want to do, they'll get onto it. So energy and its approach to heat recovery and producing value out of waste heat really appealed to me. And so again, not quite concrete boots this time, but coming into an organisation and trying to, number one, get a clear understanding of the history, and then being able to make reasonable assumptions on what we can achieve in the short and medium term has been what I've been doing the last sort of, I've been there 9 months now. And again, that's been an invigorating challenge, because it's not only a fantastically and emerging industry, but it's allowed me to compete on a level playing field with other people that has nothing to do with sport, nothing to do with basketball. So all my abilities in that don't come into play. So that's what's been really rewarding, is that being able to strategically position the company for growth, understand where you need to put resources and how to do them in what order, is seems like I've got a knack for it, I think.
And you spoke earlier about process and, particularly being an athlete, how important that is to structure. Well, obviously that's a very fundamental thing about business. So that's obviously come very naturally to you.
It is, and if you wanted to make a direct sporting analogy, take free throw shooting for example, right? Now, if you don't have your feet pointed in the right direction, your elbow tucked in, your fingers spread, your follow through right, your eyes on the ring, all these elements that need to be affected, correct, effected, as well as affected. You end up with the correct outcome, which is a made free throw. Business and in my opinion, is no different. It's about getting the right makeup. So whether it's the right people, the right kind of resources, or the right environment in which to execute. Those are all the key elements for success. So when you understand what they are and how to get them, that's what I think has been the fun part of taking this company, and we're now on a very solid growth trajectory.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on Northern Star Resources. That's a recent deal that's embraced the technology, I believe.
That's right. They were our first client, our first commercial client. So Energy historically, or prior to that, has really been an R&D company about establishing a new way in which to do heat recovery, and we're leaders in that area. But Northern Star, because they are also an innovation mining company, and their people are built many innovative things within the mining industry. They were a natural fit for us, and so hence us signing off on a deal that's it's our maiden deal, but it'll be well remembered because it's the one that got us going.
Yeah. So what would be your next 2-year plan or your 2-year key objectives for Energy?
We're going through a process now of consolidation around our heat to power sales process. So as that rolls out, we'll essentially build our client base out over time. One of the risk mitigation things that I've brought to the table is a little bit of a diversification into other renewables, and we start to look at our opportunities in solar or biomass or other things. So I think what we'd like to become when we've grown up through our adolescence is an innovative solutions company, not just simply a heat to power company. But that again takes some careful research and strategising on where you want to be.
Where the opportunities are.
Correct. And know that you're capable of executing on those from a point of view. So, we expect to increase our heat to power market in Australia. We're going to diversify into Africa as in heat to power, as well as look at solar, biomass, and other opportunities as they come along, because we're now plugged into that transformational environment that is energy in Australia.
It's an exciting area to be in.
It's amazing, and literally on a daily basis you can see these little, if you thought about the global map, and these little lights that come on, little pinpricks like that, and you go, well, what's happening over there? And you'll see that, Germany, for instance, has made the target to be 60% renewable by 2030 or whatever it is. Or France is doing this, or Japan has now figured out that solar PV can be installed at this, and so then you see where the tectonic plates are in the market, and there is going to be a shift. And I honestly believe that there will be a tsunami of renewables happen in Australia in the next couple of years off the back of Malcolm Turnbull's innovation platform. We need to innovate. We need to be smarter, and we are a country, a nation of well-educated people with the best radiance in the world. Why aren't we solar?